All right, welcome everybody. My name is Woody Roper. It's my pleasure to be invited back to deliver another Canvas training for Prince George's County Public Schools. Today's session, welcome to Canvas 101. It's going to be a walkthrough for those of you who are new to Canvas. Have never even seen the platform before. This is going to give you a nice introduction into what you're really in for, but also to show you the versatility, the ease of use, the power of using this tool within the classroom. An extension of your classroom, of course, because nothing could certainly replace any of us face-to-face teachers. It's just another tool in your toolkit to use with your students when it comes to assignments, communication, and more. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just formally introduce who I am as your trainer. That's me right there on the right-hand side. I'm my bride of about 23 years now to my left. I'm the Principal Learning Specialist for Canvas at Instructure. So Instructure is a software company that developed Canvas back in the day, and we're based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been actively using Canvas as an educator since about 2014, and if you want to know where my teaching background comes from, well, it's in teaching adults, teaching teachers, adult career, and tech ed. I always joke around and ask, who do you think's easier to teach Canvas to, students or K-12 faculty? You might even know the answer to that question. And on a personal note, a fun fact about me, I grew up on the North Shore of Hawaii, specifically the island of Oahu. If any of you have visited or have ties to the area, mahalo to all of you. But another fun fact, just because you grow up right next to the beach, like I did, I never learned how to surf. I went fishing with my dad mostly, and the irony is that when I moved to Utah many years later, I learned how to snowboard. So that's basically what I do. I surf the snow. Maybe surfing will be a bucket list item down the road. All right, well, anyways, for those of you who may have just joined us or wondering where do you need to log in at, I'm going to go ahead and just put this link right over here. That link has also been put in the chat. I'm going to just repost it one more time. That's where you're going to go ahead and log into Canvas. You'll notice that once you go to that location, you're going to be presented with this login screen. Just go ahead and put in your username and password. And if you have any questions, one second about that. One second. What the heck? I'm not sure what that was, but either way, all you want to do is just go ahead and log in to your portal to access Canvas. Now, while you're all logging in, let me go ahead and just kind of share a little bit about how this session is going to go to set you up for some expectations, just a little bit on how I teach. So first and foremost, I'm a face-to-face teacher. So teaching from a Zoom screen, we've all had to kind of make adjustments along the way. So I'm probably going to show you something, right? I'll show you an example of, say, the Canvas calendar. I'll show you examples of a Canvas course, modules, and so on. And if there's going to be any type of building in today's workshop, I'm probably going to go first, meaning I'm going to demonstrate how to create something step by step. So if you are following along, sometimes you can get caught up in the whole point-by-point clicks, looking at my screen, trying to follow along. So I encourage you, let me show you something, let me demonstrate it step by step, because I'm going to pause every once in a while and give you some time to create things on your own. There's going to be some activities in our workshop today, and that's also an opportunity where you can ask questions in the chat. We also have Monica, Milton, and Kim who are there to assist you if you need any help with like login or any type of issues that you might have with Canvas. You can certainly reach out in the chat to them as well. Also, I just want to let everyone know when it comes to this training, there is no expectation about building everything in Canvas. There's no expectation about building a course today. Today you're just wanting to take a tour of Canvas, but also getting familiar with some of the tools that are available. This training is hopefully going to set you up for some success to where if you want to tackle other things in Canvas, like down the road creating assignments, quizzes, this training will equip you or point you in the right direction to getting those things started. All right, so getting started. Where do you get started in Canvas? Once you've logged in, I would recommend, it doesn't matter whether you're a new teacher, a new student, parent, or administrator, you want to familiarize yourself with something we call the global navigation menu. So for those of you who have already logged into Canvas already, you're probably staring at something very similar to this. This is what's called the dashboard. We'll get into this in more detail in a moment, but the global navigation menu is what's located here on the left-hand side. This menu is a constant. No matter where you are in Canvas, you're always going to be able to access these icons like the calendar, the inbox, or maybe get some help. An example of that is that, for example, say you're working in a Canvas course. This is a Canvas course example that I'm going to be demoing with today, and you want to go ahead and check the calendar. Notice that the global navigation menu still remains over here on the left-hand side. If I want to hop into another one of the courses that I teach, I can just click on Courses in the course navigation, in the global navigation menu. It's going to pop out with a couple of links, all courses that I teach, and I can just quickly hop, skip, and jump into these other courses as needed. So global navigation menu should be the first thing that you familiarize yourself with. The first thing that you want to do as a new Canvas user is click on this account icon here at the very top. When you click on it, it's going to present you with this side menu. Side menu of a couple of options. The first thing you should take a look at is your personal settings. So again, clicking on account, opening up this side menu and clicking on settings. That should bring you into this location right here. It's going to have your contact information, your first name, your last name, the language in which you're reading Canvas in, and of course your time zone. The first thing you should do is maybe add your photograph. All you want to do is just click on this little circle right here. It's going to open up a window allowing you to access your webcam, take a photograph right now, or maybe take that photograph that you have on your computer, you know, the one from 20 years ago, and upload it here. And the reason why that's important is because as you communicate with students, with parents, your picture follows. It's going to be included in the text. Same thing with your students when they're communicating with you, part of a classroom discussion, or just a inbox message for their teacher. There's going to be a little picture there accompanying the student's name. In fact, the first image you ever should add in Canvas should always be your own. So you can take a photograph or click in this envelope, this window, and add a photograph. Another thing that you're going to want to take notice of is your name. Is your name spelled correctly? If it isn't, you want to contact your Canvas administrator. Say, hey, I need my name changed. I just went through a life event. I got married, for example, so you would need to change your last name. Another thing to pay attention to is something called the display name. The display name is how you are addressed in the classroom. So if you don't want to be addressed by your first and last name to your students, you want to be referred to as Mr. Roper, Mrs. Roper, Dr. Roper, contact your Canvas administrator as well so they can go ahead and change your display name. Now, things that you can change on your own within this space can be found right over here. Edit settings. Edit settings on the right hand side. When you click on that, I'm a site administrator, so it looks like I can change a lot of things, but when it comes to what you can change things like your pronouns, language. Language is for yourself. It's how you read Canvas. If I chose, for example, Spanish, this announcement right here on maintenance windows would be in Spanish, along with all the other menu items within this screen. It's not an interpreter. It doesn't translate items over that you type in natively. So if you type out an announcement in English and you read English, it's going to be in English. Same thing for students who speak Spanish, for example. That's going to be in English for them too. So you're going to want to tell them when it comes to their personal settings, make sure if English isn't your spoken language or the language that you prefer to read, make sure that they come to this same area and change their language settings. Same thing with time zone. Time zone should already be taken care of for you. But other than that, just make sure that your settings are correct. And if you do make any type of change today, once you're done, just make sure that you update settings here at the bottom. Another thing that you want to take notice of is on the right hand side, ways to contact. All of you should see your work email address listed here at the very top. Ways to contact doesn't mean that students and parents just automatically have your contact information. That's something that you can voluntarily give in your course as needed. This is a way for Canvas to contact you, because a lot of course events happen that send out notification emails. For example, if a student is trying to send you a message to the inbox, you're going to get a tap on the shoulder that a student has sent you an inbox message by way of a notification email. And we're going to send it to that location, whatever is listed here. You can certainly add another email address if you like, if you want different notifications going to different locations. Speaking of those notifications, after you add your photograph, check that your information is correct, you might want to set those notifications to your personal preferences. You might notice that notifications are located right over here to access. So from settings, notifications, it's going to take you into this location. And this is where all of those course activities, those course events that trigger some type of notification email get sent out to you. And if you're kind of wondering what triggers the notification specifically, if you just kind of hover over it, it will go ahead and define it. Like if a new announcement's been made in the course, a notification email gets sent out. Now, the frequency of those notifications. Question in the chat, can you turn notifications off? Absolutely. If you come right over here where your email is listed, you're going to see a bunch of icons. And for a lot of you, this has already been set, meaning students, teachers, administrators, parents, we already have this set on to a certain preference for you depending on your role. So if you want to change the frequency of how often you receive those notification emails, you can come right over here, click on the icon. Notice that you get a couple of options like daily summary, weekly, or turn the notification off. If you want to turn that notification off, and again, this is just for yourself. Students, when they come into this space, it's already turned on for them. They can choose to turn off different notifications as needed. Sometimes a question comes up, what about announcements? If a student comes here, if they turn off their announcement notification, do they still get announcements in the course? Will they know that a substitute teacher is coming over the weekend? Yes, they still get announcements in the course, but if they turn off their notification, they just don't get that tap on the shoulder, letting them know that a new announcement has been created in their course. Also, these notifications can be customized based on courses. If you want certain notifications to be on for one course and not the next, notice that right over here at the very top, settings for your account. Or if you want to switch it to a specific course, if you want to have certain notifications turned on differently, you can go ahead and choose that. But just remember again, these are notification preferences for yourself. Students would need to come into this space, change it as needed, but just rest assured, a lot of these notifications are already turned on by default for your students and faculty. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pause a little bit right there and let you try some of these items out. Go to your account settings. Just go ahead and in the global navigation menu, the very first item at the top, account, and go ahead and check out your settings. If you feel like there's going to be a need for a name change or a display name change, contact your local Canvas administrator. They can go ahead and change that for you. Go ahead and add a profile picture. Remember, the first image in Canvas should always be your own for communication and connection. And finally, go to the notifications area. If you need to turn any of them off or maybe adjust the frequency of how often you receive them, go ahead and make that change. I'm going to go ahead and give us about, let's take about almost 2 minutes. So let's take about 1 minute and 30 seconds here. If you have any questions about what I've shown you so far, go ahead and let us know in the chat. Looks like there's a question. Can you repeat the steps for turning a notification off? Of course. All you want to do is in the notifications area, click on that icon. Just go ahead and click on it. You'll see these options appear. All you would need to do is just click on notifications off, and that's the icon right there. All right. Hopefully that helps answer your question. All right, but good question. Any other questions? Just go ahead and put it there in the chat. All right, how many of you added a profile picture? Picture with your webcam, or just, found that photograph that you use on Facebook? No worries. Important thing is just to have something there. All right, everybody. The next thing we're going to talk about, again, staying in the global navigation menu, is what we see as soon as we log into Canvas, the Canvas dashboard. The Canvas dashboard is what we see right here. I have it in what's known as a card view, and this is a link to every single Canvas course that I teach. When you see each one of these squares, consider that a separate Canvas course. As they're titled uniquely, Canvas determines that these are separate Canvas courses. So, for example, if you're in secondary, if you teach in high school, say algebra, and you see 3 algebra courses here, it's probably periods 1, 2, and 3, but Canvas keeps those separate. So 3 separate Canvas courses. Each one of these courses can be changed as far as their location within this space by a drag and drop. Also, this space is divided, as you can see, into 2 different segments. A segment of published courses and below unpublished courses. So that's terminology within Canvas. Published just means that students can participate. If anything is unpublished, of course, we as teachers and admins, we can access anything that is unpublished. But to students, that's something that's just completely invisible to them. So always remember, if you want a student to participate in something, including your course, it will need to be published. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Other than that, notice that each one of these, what we like to call course cards, can be customized. You can put an image into that course card that kind of defines what you're actually teaching. And yes, you can put GIF animations if you prefer. It's usually a little competition with high school faculty when it comes to their students looking at their courses. Which one has the coolest picture? That's something that's only customizable by the teacher of the course. Students don't have any control over that image. Another thing that you're going to notice in the course card, 3 dots. Now that's some type of functionality within Canvas. 3 dots. Always remember, you're going to see 3 dots everywhere within your Canvas course. It's a way to interact with that item. It's some type of way to open up some type of menu. If I click on that, the menu for this allows me to adjust the color, or maybe even give it a nickname. A nickname, the reason why we give you that option is because you can name your course whatever you want, and it's only visible to you, meaning it's private. The reason why you might have that, back to my example of 3 algebra courses, what if they're all just titled algebra? Well, how do I know which one's period 1, 2, or 3? I can come over here as the teacher and give this a nickname. Algebra period 1, algebra period 2. I'm the only one that's going to see it, so it's going to help me with my organization of this space. Another thing that you're going to see on the dashboard eventually, hopefully, is a to-do list. So from a teacher's perspective, a to-do list, these are things that we have to grade. And notice that there is a number next to these. I have 1 item I have to grade here with a direct link to that submission so I can grade, give feedback, perhaps annotate that work. But this is global. Global meaning that I've got a lot of courses to teach. If I have 3 algebra courses right here, it will list all items that have been turned in for those 3 algebra courses, quick links for me to grade. You're going to notice that a to-do list, once we go into a course, will narrow down, not globally, but just the items that you have to grade within that course alone. Now, from a student's perspective, when they come into the dashboard, yes, they will see any of the courses they're enrolled in. These are direct links that will take them to that course to participate, but their to-do list will be items that they have to submit to you. It's a 4-week backlog of items with due dates, gradable content within their courses that I can always let my students know, say over the break, over the weekend, hey, go ahead and knock out a couple things on your to-do list to go ahead and get caught up here in my course. So again, a to-do list for teachers and students. And that's the Canvas dashboard. I promise we'll try to show you how we can go ahead and add these images to customize this space. Now, the dashboard view by default is in a card-based view. That means it's these little squares that represent your courses. If you do want to change it, if you want to change it to a different view, notice the top right here, top right-hand corner, another 3 dots, kind of like a hidden menu, I suppose. You click on it, change to recent activity, change the color overlay if you like. If you want to go ahead and say have a listed view, students like a listed view sometimes because they can see not only just your course, but items that they have to do in their course before they click on it. So that's our Canvas dashboard. Another thing that you're going to see here in the global navigation menu is our Canvas calendar. When students log into Canvas, usually the first thing that they click on is not your course. They'll click on your calendar so they can see what's happening during the week. And you can access the Canvas calendar by just coming right over here in the global navigation menu, clicking on calendar. This is my calendar, and it's currently displayed in a monthly view. Obviously pretty busy. What's being displayed here are gradable assignments with due dates, course events, perhaps appointments, and you can change the view of your personal calendar by coming over here to the top right hand corner. You can go into a weekly view, monthly, or a listed agenda. A lot of things as far as display wise. If you choose to go to a week agenda, that doesn't change your student's view. That's the same concept of personal preference. If I want to have monthly view but my students wants to go weekly, that's completely fine. Things that get displayed are really determinant on what we see over here on the right hand side, our list of calendars. All of us should have a personal calendar here at the top represented with our name. Students have the exact same thing. And a personal calendar is exactly what that is. It is personal. Only we can see what we put in our personal calendar. So something that we could do with a personal calendar are things like to-do list reminders. I can remind myself as a teacher to create a quiz. From a student's perspective, they can create a to-do list reminder to study for a quiz once I finish creating them. Notice there's going to be a list of courses underneath, and some of these courses, they're kind of grayed out, and some of them actually have some color here. The reason why is I like setting certain calendars to be active and inactive because if you notice, my calendar is pretty busy and it's hard to distinguish which course I'm looking at, which content. So I can actually come right over here and just click off or set it to inactive, and if I just want to take a look at ancient Roman history, I'm going to just toggle off a couple of these courses. Here we go, and now I'm just looking at ancient Roman history content. If I need to set these courses to be active again in my calendar, I just click on those items again to bring them back into this space. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you that setting items to be active or inactive will determine what you see in the calendar space. Another thing that you're going to notice here in the calendar is the calendar feed. So the calendar feed, it's how you can get Canvas's calendar information to any personal calendar that you manage. For example, if you're managing a Google Calendar or Outlook, you can hit calendar feed, which is located right here. It's going to give you a URL. This is a URL that you would put into Google Calendar, and anything you do at that from this moment forward in the Canvas calendar space will go ahead and update into those external calendars. But it's important to remember that this is a one-way relationship. That means you can't do anything in Google Calendar and expect it to update or be created in the Canvas calendar. So from Canvas calendar to those external spaces. So here's a couple things that you can do while you're in your calendar. Again, this displays content with due dates. For example, right over here, let's go ahead and just kind of scroll down over here. Today's May 4th, and I have this assignment right over here, this topographical maths. It's due tomorrow. But we didn't have time to cover any of that this week, so I want to give my students an extension, meaning I want to change the due date of that assignment. So yes, you could go to the course, click on the assignment, hit edit, change the date, hit save. But if you're in the calendar, you can just click, hold, and drag it, meaning drag it to another day. Why don't we just go ahead and pull that from this Thursday to this Thursday right here. And that's exactly as if you went into the Canvas course itself, changed the date there. Same thing, Canvas course, if you make any due date changes, the calendar here will update with those changes. And you know what? I don't need to then make an announcement in the course. Hey, everybody, I just want to let everyone know that the assignment due date's been changed, because guess what? By me changing a calendar due date, it automatically notifies every single student in that course by notification email that the due date of that assignment has been changed. So yeah, we have drag and drop functionality within the calendar. If you're noticing, for example, that a course you import from last term to the new term, and when you're looking at spring break, you've got a couple of items that are showing up in spring break, well, you can just come here, drag them out of spring break, move them around, and that's just as if you were in your Canvas course hitting edit, 15 times on 15 different assignments, changing the dates there. Another thing that you can do in the calendar, other than drag and drop gradable content, is you can create things called events. An event is something along the lines of just information about something happening on a particular day. It could be a particular day. It could be a reoccurring day for the next 6 weeks. It could be a 2-day event, a 3-day event. So you can create these events for your courses. Events aren't gradable items. It's just a heads up that this is happening today, tomorrow, all week. So let me go ahead and demonstrate how I would create a week-long event. Let's just go ahead and call it Spirit Week. I'm going to go ahead and start right here. This is going to be Spirit Week from the 9th all the way through the 13th. Just click on any day in the calendar. You can also choose this plus button in the top right-hand corner, but I prefer sometimes just to click on the day. It's going to give me this menu. Now the first option, event. I'm just going to call it Spirit Week. Starts on the 9th. I don't have to do a to and from. It's just going to be all week. Location, our classroom, and probably the most important item is what calendar is this event for? You may have remembered that I mentioned the concept of setting courses to be active and inactive, mainly for the purposes of where my calendar might feel a little bit cluttered. I want to just focus on one item and not all of them. Well, you want to make sure that if you're creating an event in your calendar, you want to make sure that you have those courses set to active, at least the course that needs to have that event made for it. So I've got a couple of these courses selected. Down over here at the very bottom, I don't need to make that event for myself. I need to make it for my geology students. So I'm going to go ahead and just come right over here. The reason why geology is in that drop down is because I have it set to active in my calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And that's pretty much it. Let me just hit submit. And let's take a look at the 9th. So notice that we have Spirit Week right here. And in fact, let's go ahead and just kind of uncheck a couple of these options to bring it kind of front and center. There we go, Spirit Week. If I just hover towards the end of it, notice where my cursor is. As I hover over here at the end, it turns into an arrow. That's going to allow me to drag this all the way to the end. So this is Spirit Week all the way to the end, and now that's a full week event. If for whatever reason I need to change Spirit Week to the week of the 16th, I can drag that down here. That will notify all students that that event has changed in that geology classroom. Another thing that you can do with events is you can make them reoccurring. A lot of us have items that, like a meeting, that it just has to reoccur every Monday for the next 4 weeks. So if you wanted to create an event that reoccurs, just a couple added steps to that process. I'm going to come over here again to the 9th. And say I want to have a classroom meeting that meets every Monday for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to hit my title right here. This is going to be class meeting. It's already got the date chosen. To and from, you can go ahead and put the hours if you like. So if our class meeting is just going to be from 9 a.m. to 9:30, I'll go ahead and just put that in. Location, our classroom, or it could be virtual. I'll leave that up to you. But remember, again, who is this meeting for? In this particular case, because I went ahead and set all those other courses to inactive, you can see right over here that it's only showing me active calendars. So if I need to have another course show up here, I would have to kind of leave this space, check one of those options to make those course events appear for a particular course. I'm just going to do the same thing here for geology. Now, before you hit submit, and this is specifically for items that have to be duplicated, you want to hit the more options key. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit more options. It's going to take me into another window. This is where you can actually give this event a little bit more context, something that we're going to see a lot today, the rich content editor. So if I need to put a link here for this meeting, or if I need to put a link to a form, a permission slip form for a field trip, I can go ahead and drop it right here. Again, to give this class meeting some instructions, some more context. Down over here at the bottom, main reason I'm bringing you here is because we have a duplication option here below. I'm going to go ahead and select that. So I want this meeting to reproduce itself for the next 6 weeks, starting on this first day. So it's going to be once a week for the next 6 weeks. And Canvas even gives you a convenient number each event, which will put a countdown number right here at the very end, meeting 1, meeting 2, meeting 3, all the way through meeting 6. Now that I've done that, I'm going to come over here to the lower right-hand corner and hit create event. And that's it. So a couple things are happening right now. My geology students are being notified that a new event's been created, and when they go to their calendar by way of that notification email, they will see right over here, meeting 1, meeting 2, meeting 3, and so on. Say, for example, I need to move meeting 2, like meeting 3, the 23rd, what if it was a holiday? Or teacher work day. I can take this and drag it to the 24th. When students are back in school, it notifies all the students in that geology classroom that meeting 3, hopefully that one, has been updated or changed to the 24th. So those are just a couple of things you can do in the calendar. Drag and drop functionality, changing how many courses that you see. If you have any students who are feeling a little overwhelmed, in high school they're taking more than one course, just tell them, hey, just go ahead and just toggle off or on the course that you want to focus on right now. And when you want to focus on another, toggle it off and set that other course to be active. All right, well, anyways, I'm going to pause right there and let you play with the Canvas calendar. Canvas calendar, click on any day in the calendar and create an event. And once you're done, hit submit. Notice there is an optional activity there to try more options. More options allow you to make an event duplicatable. Duplicate this event for the next 6 weeks. If you have any questions about this, please let me know, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of time here. Let's go ahead and take about a minute and 30 seconds. If you have any questions about the Canvas calendar, let us know in the chat. All right, everybody. Now, I would consider the Canvas calendar a communication tool because we communicate to our students things that are happening in the week. Students see items coming up based on due dates. Another communication tool that we have within the course, something we call the Canvas inbox, and this is also in our global navigation menu. Right over here, left-hand side, the Canvas inbox. So the Canvas inbox is kind of what you would think it would be. It's a way to communicate with students, but it's also limited. A lot of you have work email, for example, and you might be used to using your work email to communicate with students and parents. If you feel comfortable using that tool, then please continue to do so. This tool here has nothing to do or does not interfere in any way with your work email. It's just a convenient tool that if you want to communicate with parents and students, you can do it right over here while you're logged into Canvas by clicking on the inbox. And just to show you just what an example of kind of a back and forth here, I'm just clicking on this message. This is just a back and forth between me and a student, but student is the key when it comes to communication here because you cannot use this tool to communicate outside of your classroom. Like, for example, communicating with that college roommate or communicating with your grandmother. This is only for communication with the students of your class. And the same thing for them. They can't communicate with any members or peers that they don't have in a particular classroom. They can only communicate with their teacher and with any type of observing parent. So that is a key thing to remember about this tool. And if you feel like the functionality kind of falls short, if you feel like you need to use your work email for something outside of that, please continue to do so. But if you do choose to use this tool within Canvas to compose a new message, all you would do is come here and click on that compose a new message option here at the top. It's going to open up this window. The very first thing you're going to have to do is choose the course the message is going to. So that shows you there is a limitation here that you will have to send a message to one course at a time. I can't select 5 courses and send the same message to all 5 courses. So once I choose a course, like this course right here, I can begin to start typing out the name of the student. I don't need an email address because Canvas just identifies users because the email address has already been added for them. Another thing that you're going to notice in this space is that if you need to, for example, find or send a message to all students or all parents of the class, just click on this address book. When I click on the address book, it's going to show every single role that I have in the class. And that's important because if you don't see these roles, they haven't been created yet or enrolled in your class. For example, if I have teaching assistants, I'm going to see that as an option. If I've built student groups, I'm going to see that as an option. So as these roles are added or placed within your course, these will just be more options for communication within this space. Another thing that you're going to do is just put in a subject, and then after that, it's like your normal inbox email message to your students. I'm just going to go ahead and just show you right over here, students. I can choose all students or pick them individually. And once I'm ready for a message, I can type it out or just come down here to the very bottom. I can attach files or get on the camera. Let me go ahead and just open up the camera here. Now, of course, it's probably going to ask you if you're a first-time user, whether or not you can use your laptop. But if you want to use your webcam, you can send an email with this recorded message. Your students can respond with a recorded message if they chose to. If you don't want to be on camera and you want to just include some type of audio track, notice right about here where it says webcam, I can just come to no video, and now I'm just recording an audio track if I don't feel like being on camera that day. We also give you an option right over here to just upload media. If you have something pre-prepared, you could go ahead and upload it within this message. So that's just one communication tool that I wanted to show you, but remember again, you do have your work email. If you feel like you've been communicating with students that way or parents that way, it's a lot easier for you to use. Please continue to do so. We just add a convenient tool for communication here in our global navigation menu. Another item that you're going to see within this space that you can use is something we call Canvas Studio. Now, Canvas Studio is an elected media platform that Prince George's County has decided to add to its Canvas instance, and it's a pretty amazing tool. What is it exactly? Well, the Canvas Studio is a way to take any type of video. We're talking YouTube links, VMO links, something you record yourself, or something you already have stored in your computer and you just want to upload it as a lecture, upload it as a learning resource, and you can add questions to it. So a lot of the video that we use, like if I give a student some type of YouTube video and I just ask them to watch it, that's what we like to call passive video. There's no way for me to know whether they've watched it. I can't add questions to the video. I can't turn it into a video quiz. It's really just something for them to watch. That same video could be added to Studio. Now I can add questions. I can turn it into a class-wide engagement, or I could put it as individual assessment, like a video quiz that will stop on every single question, and once the student answers them all at the end of the video, passes a result or a score back to the Canvas gradebook. It's also an area to manage all of your video content. If you have that one YouTube link, well, I've got to add it to every single one of my courses in order for a student to see it. But I could take that same YouTube link and just add it to my Studio library, and it's going to be there forever, or at least until I decide to delete it. In that same YouTube video, I can add questions to it, and when it comes to space, I don't have to really worry about space. I can upload as many videos as I like to my Studio library and use them whenever needed in the course. And finally, how do you know when a student's watched a video? Well, if I give a student a YouTube link, there's no way for me to determine whether or not they've watched it. But with Canvas Studio, that same video will show you every single student who's watched it. But not only that, it'll show you if the student skipped through the questions, if they moved the cursor to the middle and then moved it all the way to the very end, or maybe watched the first 5 seconds of it. And then you can contact them and say, hey, this is a safety video. Really need you to watch this before you're allowed in the lab. So that's what Canvas Studio is for. Just a quick preview of that. Right over here, when you click on Canvas Studio in the global navigation menu, that will take you into a space like this. This is my Studio library. This is where I keep all of my videos, and I've got a lot of them. So add your videos as needed, and you'll always be able to access these items. And when you add a video, let me go ahead and just refresh my page here. When you add a video, it will be something that you can link to. You can share videos with students, but you can also share videos with other faculty members. If they need to use it in their course, you can share Studio video content. Just coming over here into this collection of videos, coming right over here to this biology video. I have it in this particular course. And then I can see not only the questions that I've added to the video, but also the layer of engagement by insights. I can see who's actually watched the video all the way through. I can download that information and so on. So one video for multiple courses. We really love this tool, and there is a separate Studio video training that if you want to learn more about this, definitely stay tuned for that. All right. But other than that, that is our Canvas Studio tool. Another tool that we're going to be engaging with today, something that is specific just for teachers, is the Canvas Commons. Again, we're just hanging out over here in the global navigation menu, getting familiar with some of these tools. The Canvas Commons, that's where you can share anything that you build within a Canvas course. You can share it into the Commons, and someone else, a colleague, a friend, can go ahead and download that content into their course and use it. And I do mean anything. If you create an assignment, a quiz, if you like a homepage button, you can put it into the Commons, and someone else at Prince George's County Schools, they can go ahead and download that resource in their course. When you click on Studio, usually you'll be presented with all of these items. And right now to date, teachers, administrators, Canvas users have uploaded over 226,000 items into this space. And we're talking about everything from a picture of a button, audio tracks, to complete courses. Now, for Prince George's County, when you come into this space, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see all of these items, these resources. Up to date right now, Prince George's County has added over 554 resources just for their faculty. So you can come in here and find something that'll work in your course. And something that I wanted to point you to, something that we're going to ask of you, that if you want to go ahead and grab a copy of a template of a course to get started in Canvas, you're going to find it in this location. So when you click on the comments, it's probably going to ask you to authenticate, agree to that terms. Then you're looking at this. Let me go ahead and just show you navigation real quick. Right over here, under latest, this is where you can kind of filter this content. Under latest, you can go ahead and go to, say, the most downloaded for Prince George's County. So what exactly is that? Well, it's the most downloaded items or resources within this space. And I want to point you to two resources. One is the elementary school template, and the other is the secondary template. So if you want to get started using Canvas, and you don't want to really have to, start building a homepage from scratch. You want to go ahead and have at least the structure, and you'll take over yourself when it comes to adding your own welcome message, your own teacher information or contact information. But, you don't want to have to add that banner up at the top or add these buttons down at the bottom. You want something that's built out, giving you structure to get started. The Commons is a great place to just grab that resource. If you do want to grab a resource today from the Commons, and you can always go back here, find something that you like, whether it's an assignment, a quiz, or an entire course. But just to focus on one item, let me go ahead and show you in my Commons. If, for example, I wanted a course, I wanted a module, say, for example, I want this quiz in a course, this review for data tables. I would just click on it. Takes me into what's known as the preview area. You can preview what's in that course, what's in this quiz. And say I like this. I'm going to come right over here on the right-hand side where it says import/download. When you select that, you're going to see any Canvas course that you currently have access to right now, meaning something that you're enrolled in as a teacher. You would just select the course you want this resource to go into. So select one course or select all of them. It really doesn't matter. I really love the functionality of being able to take a resource and put it into 3 courses at once. Once you select a course from this space, notice at the very bottom, this import into course option will illuminate. You just need to click on that option. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll put that into geology and ancient Roman history. Why not? So those 3 courses right there, import this, and there we go. Canvas will do the rest. I'm not sure why it's saying that I can't do it, but it'll say that you started the process. Just give it a few seconds for it to upload that information in the course. And today, again, I'm just promoting the elementary and the secondary template course. Pretty phenomenal what's been created for you. Well, anyways, I'm going to pause right here, let you try it, find these resources, and perhaps import them into your practice course, your sandbox course, we like to call it. This is what that activity is for. Access the Canvas Commons and import the elementary or secondary template into your sandbox. If you notice right over here, if you're taking a look at the comments and you see this initially, you could type in elementary at the top, but it's a lot easier just to come right over here. What is the most downloaded resources so far that Prince George's County has had to offer? Well, it's the 2 templates, elementary and secondary. So just select most downloaded and access these pieces and download them into that course. If you have any questions about this process, go ahead and let me know, but I'm going to give us about 2 minutes to go ahead and import maybe a resource that you'd like to use later in your Canvas course. Looks like there's a question in the chat. Will a Canvas course disappear each year or stay active for the creator or perhaps the teacher so it can be used again the next year as a base to build off of? Great question. So after a term ends, that course goes into an inactive state. But if you're a teacher of that course, the creator, teacher of that course, sometimes the same thing, you will always have access to that past course because no one's asking you to rebuild your course again from scratch. You'll be able to take a copy of your course and import it into the next course for the next term. That is something that your administrators will let you know. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and give everyone your courses, your enrollment. Just take your previous course and import it into the next. A Canvas course only gets better over time. If you think about it, when you're new to Canvas, you're working with the template, you might build a few things. Once that term ends, well, that course will be imported into the next term. You start getting more familiar with Canvas, adding more things to that course. You then take that course, import it into the next term. So the courses only improve over time. So hopefully that helps answer your question. I suppose in a nutshell, you don't have to rebuild the wheel when it comes to your course. Let's see here. Oh, you're welcome. And looks like there's a question, how do you find resources again? I am going to share with you one more item here after the Commons, but here in the dashboard, if you just click on Commons, right here at the bottom, for Prince George's County, this is the first thing that you're going to see. Actually, the latest. The first thing that you're going to see, if you want to type in something up here like elementary, secondary, course template, that's fine. But the easiest way I've been able to find your resources, at least your template courses, is just to come right over here to where it says latest and choose the most downloaded. And we can see these numbers are actually going up right here. There's the elementary, here's the secondary. When you choose this or click on one of those courses, it's going to give you the preview. And just to show you right over here, the preview for the secondary course, let's just go ahead and just take a look at it right here. That's what you're getting right there. That's a preview of it. When you're ready to download this into a course shell, like a sandbox course, you would just come over here to the right-hand side, import/download. Now, I don't have any courses in your instance. That's the reason why I showed you this right over here. It's going to give you access to all of your courses. Just go ahead and put a check mark next to the course that needs that resource, like your sandbox. And once you put a check mark there, import into course. That's all you have to do, and Canvas takes care of the rest. All right, everybody. Well, anyways, at least showed you where the resources are. And if you're feeling like, you know what, I'll probably grab that later, at least you know where the resources are so you can go ahead and find it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and talk about the final thing in your global navigation menu. That's your help option. It's probably the most important item there, especially when it comes to faculty who are new to Canvas. Where do you go to get help? Where are your resources located? I'm going to head back over here and click on the help menu. Help menu located at the very bottom. It's going to pull out this little slide out. First thing you're going to notice is a toll-free number. This toll-free number is going to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We normally keep all of our help in-house here in Salt Lake City, so you're going to talk to someone here out of the main office, and that's for you to ask any question that you might have about Canvas or any problems you might have about Canvas. All we ask you to do, please don't give that number to your students. Students, when they click on help, they don't see that number either way, but it never fails. A teacher gives that number to a student, they call it, and we can't talk to students because it's a FERPA violation. Always be the first line of defense on any type of issue your student is having in Canvas, and we can assist them through you, but you can call that number at any time. Also, other things you can see here are the Curriculum Hub. That Curriculum Hub, that's going to have links to documents, syllabi, teaching materials, all content areas. That's a very valuable resource right here. You want to go ahead and take a look at that when you can. Also, other than just, calling us, if you want to chat with us as well, same folks that work out of here in the main offices in Salt Lake, you're going to chat with the same person. If you like to figure things out for yourself, you can always come right over here to the Canvas Guides. The Canvas Guides, this is going to show you guides that are built for parents, students, teachers. When you come into this space, Notice there are video guides. If you want to give a link to a student on how to submit to an assignment, or if you want to learn how to build an assignment, we give you different areas with screenshots from your perspective. So if I come over here to the instructor guide and then hit the assignments, look at all the assignment guides we give you. Like, for example, how do I create an assignment? This is going to show you step by step with screenshots, everything that you're going to click on the screen, just get from point A to point B. But also, don't forget, you have the number. You can call that number and we can give you a walkthrough on how to do that as well. If you want to take training or asynchronous training on your own, that means you want to take a little bit of quiz training and maybe take 5 minutes a day and finish it up tomorrow, try our training services portal. We have a lot of resources in there that you can do just self-paced training, and you collect them over time. You'll see, we'll be able to see how many trainings you've completed. It's something you can kind of point to your admins that, yeah, I took this training, and this training. They'll be able to see that within the portal completion as well. If you do have an issue with Canvas, other than calling us, chat with us, you can report a problem. That's going to send it to the Tier 1 support queue, a special queue for Prince George's County Schools that we put a little bit more emphasis on answering those. We answer it within the hour when you want to send us an email. But can I give you a little tip? If it's an emergency, please call us. It's a lot easier to resolve something over the phone as opposed to an email exchange back and forth. It sounds like my grade book's not working. We respond, sorry to hear that about that. Which grade book? And then the response is my biology grade book. Okay, which biology? You teach 3 biology courses. Please call us. We can go ahead and just resolve the issue while we have you on the phone. So those are your help options that are available. Please take advantage of them. They're pretty amazing to have a Tier 1 support client having those resources. All right, everybody. Well, anyways, I'm just taking a look here in the chat. See if any questions. What does the course look like on the student's end? I'm really glad you asked. All right, because I'm going to go and take you into a Canvas course. If you've already got a Canvas course on your dashboard, you can go ahead and click on it. It might still be processing, say, a resource that you're importing in from the Commons, or it's already completed. This is a Canvas course. Imagine clicking on a course from the dashboard. This is what's known as the home page. I'm going to be showing you today how you can change things using the rich content editor, whether you've got a home page, whether you've got an assignment, an announcement. All tools within Canvas use the same editing tool, the rich content editor. But the question was, what does a course look like to a student? Well, you can actually see that for yourself. Every single Canvas course has a built-in test student. Look for something up in the top right-hand corner, usually called the student view. When I click on the student view, this is what a student would see. Notice that the menu items here for the course navigation menu narrow, or at least narrow for my students in this space, because I've limited what they can see within the course. And this isn't a screenshot. If there's any functionality on the page, the test student will be able to access it, or maybe not access it, depending on what you allow the test student or your students in your course to click on. But that's what a course would look like through a student. So if you ever need that perspective, look for that student view. Over here at the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to leave the student view. Leave the student view right here. And just take us right back in. All right. One more important thing that I did want to point out, I mentioned it already on the dashboard, is the concept of publishing. Always remember that if you want a student to participate in your course or participate with an assignment or quiz, any item you want them to visibly see, you want to make sure it's published. All right. Publishing is not something that just automatically happens. Like, for example, if classes start tomorrow, the course just doesn't just publish itself, right? We give teachers the autonomy that when you're ready for a student to participate, to take a part in a particular assignment, you have the ability to publish content or unpublish content. That includes your entire course. If you need to publish your course, open the door virtually, just hit publish. That's it. Now, the students who are enrolled in that course, they would now be able to see it on their dashboard. They can click on it. This is the first thing they're going to see as they enter that home page. All right, everybody. Well, anyways, how do you interact with the Canvas course? How do you change certain things about it? Well, the next part of our training today is just to show you that if you need to build anything in Canvas, there's only one tool you need to learn. I guess that's the good news, right? You only need to learn how to use one tool. That's going to build everything. And that's a tool called the Rich Content Editor. You've already had a small preview of what the Rich Content Editor is when we created our calendar event. But that is the same tool you're going to use to build the homepage that you just saw, or maybe add to that or adjust it. It's also a way, for example, to make an announcement, to add assignment instructions, quiz, discussion instructions, or maybe replying in a discussion. You're going to use the exact same tool. So normally after we introduce new instructors, new teachers to Canvas, we want to give you or set you up for success with the tools that allow you to build content. So we don't necessarily show you how to build an assignment first without showing you how that assignment is going to be built in the first place with your instructions, your titles, links to documents, or maybe displaying documents and videos. How do you use the Rich Content Editor? One of the best ways to learn how to use the Rich Content Editor is to build something in Canvas called a content page. A content page in Canvas is just a blank slate that allows you to put several links there. Like, I want to create a video page, and here's all my links to my videos. I want to create a reading resource page. Here's the links to all the reading resources. A content page could be activity-based, but really all a content page is just something for you to put information on. Now, we usually get questions like, well, I already have a document for all that. That's fine. You could put that document on a content page and then set a requirement in your modules, something you're going to see here in a bit, that the students must mark this as done, meaning that marking this as done, a button they click on means they read this. So you know who's read the document and who hasn't read the document. A content page gives you one of those options. Content page can be editable by students if you allow them to have editing rights to the page. But like I said, a content page is a great way to just learn how to use the building tools, the authoring tools within your Canvas course. So let's go ahead and get started by creating a quick content page. Now, if you already have downloaded the resources from the Commons, this is probably what you're taking a look at. If you're looking at, say, a blank course, meaning there's nothing in here, don't fret. We're all going to start out with the same blank page to start with. So if you, so the instructions on how to create a page vary depending on whether you already have a home page built. For those of you who have a completely blank course, meaning there's nothing here, you're kind of getting started for the very first time, your process is a little bit more simpler. But let me go ahead and explain. For those of you who have a Canvas sandbox or Canvas practice course that already has a home page, to create a new content page, all you would have to do is come right over here, course navigation menu, and locate something that says pages. When you select it on courses that have a home page, you're kind of repeated right here to just taking a look at the home page again. But notice that the publishing menu for the course is missing on the right-hand side, and it's also a little wider. All right. So in order for us to get into the content page index where we build all content pages, all we need to do is then, for those of us with the home page, click that view all option, view all pages right here at the top. And that's it. That's where I want everyone to be. And for those who are asking, right over here, all you have to do is go into a Canvas course. That means on your dashboard, click on any of the courses that you want to learn these concepts on. Click on one of those courses. It will normally take you right over here to the home page of the course. locate over here in the the course navigation menu, locate pages, find pages. I know sometimes it can be said, you know what, there's a lot of things here. Find the option that just says pages. When you click on pages, for some of you, it might just repeat what you see on the home page. You just have one button click here at the top. But for some of you who don't have any content build, you're kind of staring at something that looks a little bit like this, something to where you can add a page. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a page here, top right hand corner. Now, that's a functionality within Canvas, kind of like the 3-dot menus that I talked about earlier, something that you can interact with items. Canvas, whenever you need to build something, look to the top right hand corner for that plus page button, that plus announcement button, plus assignment, plus discussion, plus quiz. That should be located in the top right whenever you visit those items in the course navigation menu. So I'm going to create my first page today, top right hand corner, and we have the Rich Content Editor. First thing I'm going to do is give this page a title. I'm just going to call this 1.1 RCE Practice. RCE is short for Rich Content Editor. And I'm not going to put anything in here. I want to just talk a little bit about some of the tools that we're going to be using for this workshop. So the tools that are available might be on menu format, meaning drop-down menu. Edit, view, insert. If you click on any of these items, should give a couple of different options available. And you'll notice that there is a toolbar that allows you to not only view some of the tools that are already in your drop-down menus, but also be able to access things like your LTI tools like Google Drive, tools like Studio, YouTube, anything that shows up here for Prince George County Schools' Canvas. We're gonna talk about all these tools today, how you use them to build content. But I just want to let everyone know that this insert menu is going to be the main option that we choose today. We're going to be inserting things like links, images, media, documentation, things that you normally use every day in a course announcement, quiz, homepage, and so on. You'll also notice that a lot of these icons right over here, well, they're the same things that show up here in the toolbar. And I get asked all the time, well, why don't we just go ahead and use those? Is that the same thing? It is the exact same thing. It's just that if you're new to Canvas, sometimes we're used to items from a drop-down menu because we use Google Docs or Word docs. Insert menu usually has items like this. When you become more of a veteran Canvas user, please note that you can always use the items in the toolbar. Works the same way. It's just today's training, I'm going to be using Insert to add several of these items. All right, other things that I want to show you, lower right-hand corner of the Rich Content Editor. We have keyboard shortcuts if you need them. We also have an accessibility checker, something that will check or scan the entire page that we build for any accessibility issues. It's not only going to find them, it's going to recommend how to fix them right there on the spot, so you don't have to hunt for where the issue is. It'll allow you to fix it. Things like alt text on images or file names. Also, right over here, there is a full screen option. We probably will be using that today because I think this is going to get filled up pretty quickly. You can always come to the lower right-hand corner, click, hold, and drag that down if needed, but I like full screen a lot. It shows us everything that we're doing on the page. Always remember, if you're in full screen, to get out of it, hit the escape key. Takes you right back. And of course, down at the very bottom, the ability to cancel what we're doing, meaning I'm not going to make any changes, I'm not going to create a page, or saving what we have as a draft. Remember, there is a difference between saving something as opposed to save and publish. Save and publish means this is now something a student would be able to see, where saving means I leave it unpublished until I finish some items, add more links as I go, and when I'm ready for students to see it, I can publish it. All right, well, anyways, one more thing before I let you create this page real quick. Screen size. Notice that all of my tools go all the way to the very end. If you're kind of wondering, like, I don't see these 4 tools on my screen. Where are they? Well, those tools might be in a 3-dot menu. As I kind of scrunch my screen in, let me go ahead and just show you, it's adaptive. So if I go ahead and go right about there, notice that there's a three-dot menu so I can access those tools. And we do that because maybe your screen size, you might be dealing with a 13-inch screen. Students might have a smaller screen size. Just note that if they have to use the rich content editor for text entry submissions or discussion replies, the tools are all there. They just may need to access that menu on the very end, depending on their screen size. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to hit save and publish here at the very bottom. And that's what we're going to work with today. We're going to actually build up content on this content page, showing you everything that we can do with the rich content editor. But the first thing you're going to need is some type of blank canvas like this, a content page to start. So this is our first activity. Go to Pages. Now, Pages are located in the course navigation menu under just Pages. If you have a home page, it's just going to present itself again. Hit that View All Pages option. If you don't have a home page set up, you're in the right spot already. Up top right-hand corner, hit that plus page button and give it a title. I called it 1.1 RCE Practice, and then save and publish your page. Pretty easy to do, but if you have any questions, go ahead and let us know there in the chat. Let me give us let's go ahead and take about a minute. About a minute there. If you have any questions about this, please let us know. Oh, and just one thing I want to mention about questions in a Zoom chat. Make sure that those questions are addressed to everyone. I can't address questions that are directed just to me because I'm the only person that sees it. And it kind of gives in the training, it's a little out of context. No one knows what I'm talking about. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it to everyone in that Zoom chat. Looks like a question in the chat. I can't find pages. So the first thing I would ask is, Susan, do you have a course open? Are you currently looking at a course? Go ahead and kind of let us know there. And if you feel like you want to go ahead and come on the microphone, you can go ahead and do so. One of the things to remember is that in a Canvas course, depending on your settings, there may be a lot of things here in a course in the course navigation menu. So sometimes it's just a matter of just scrolling and finding it. It might be located here at the very bottom, but you always want to just find pages. That's how you're going to be able to find those items. If you are clicking on a course that you're a student in, if you're a student in a course, your experience might be very different, especially for the course that you're a student in. The pages area is hidden, so you can't create pages like a teacher. So you want to choose a course where you're a teacher in it. So with that being said, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, I have unpublished courses up there. So is that why I can't see pages? Because they're unpublished courses?
Nope. You can, whenever, because you're a teacher, you can access published and unpublished courses. Just from the dashboard, are we talking about this page right here, the dashboard? You want to click on a course. That's how you actually access the course to be able to edit or create content. Just click on any of the courses that you see, whether they're published or unpublished. Like, for example, right over here, if I just click on that course. And once you're in a course, look for something that says pages in the course navigation menu on the left-hand side. You can see right here, pages. It's really high for me. It's located all the way up here. There's a lot of things there. So you got to maybe just zoom in and just like, okay, maybe pages are down here. But once you're in the course, click on pages. If you have a home page will represent itself. All you have to do is view all pages. But if you don't have any type of home page built, you're in the right spot already because you'll see that plus page button in the top right-hand corner. All right, everybody. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, that's what we're going to do to get started today. And again, this is just a workshop to show you what Canvas can do. This training is recorded, so you'll be able to fast forward to this particular portion in the training when you have some time for yourself to just kind of get into this tool and learn about its functionality. All right, now that I've created some type of Canvas page to work out of, let's go ahead and show you other page functionalities. So instead of hitting edit here, I'm going to hit view all pages again. So view all pages. It's going to show me the content page that I have created. Because I have it as 1.1, it's listed up at the top. This list will be alphanumerical. If I want to duplicate something, that means I've got a schedule to build. And that schedule changes from week to week. That means I need to build several content pages which will have a different schedule from one to the next. Well, all you would need to do is build one schedule page and then come right over here, three-dot menu of that item, and duplicate it. All right, so duplicate. That just creates a carbon copy of whatever you just built. So if you put a table on that page and it's listed as Monday through Friday, well, I can now duplicate that page. Now I have a table on every single page with the proper headering for Monday through Friday. So I just don't have to rebuild everything from scratch. Again, come to any resource, look at the three-dot menu, and duplicate. It's going to duplicate that item. So now I have 3 copies of that original RCE practice. Let me let you try that because that's an important feature in Canvas. We have the duplication option for pages, assignments, new quizzes, discussions, modules. So if you create one assignment template and you need another assignment, click duplicate and you now have 2 copies of the same assignment. I'm going to go ahead and just come back over here and let you try that. Click on View All Pages and locate that page you just created and open up that little 3-dot side menu and find duplication. Duplicate the page you already have. That's important for this particular workshop because we are going to need an extra page, and you're going to see here in a bit why. And it doesn't take too long. I'm going to give us about a minute here for you to try the duplication feature, but also if you have any questions. Question in the chat, what should I do if I want to publish the page to my other classes? And Emery, are you talking about this idea that if you build something in this course, you'd like to have a copy of it in another course that you teach?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Not only can you duplicate content in Canvas to save you a little bit of time, you also have something called direct share. So say, for example, the same thing. I build a resource on a content page, a schedule, a bunch of links of reading, several videos are on this page, but I only built it here. I have 2 other courses that I teach. Well, what you can do is you can come right over here, 3-dot menu again, and we also give you an option to copy to. That means copy to another course. All you need to do is just type in the name of the course that you want a copy of that over, and it would put it into its content page index. Another thing to show you is that if you have a colleague that didn't attend today's training and you build something amazing today and you want to give them a copy of it, go ahead and click on the 3-dot menu of that item and send to. Now you can send by typing in the name of your colleague right here, type in their name, and you can send them a copy. Now, that copy just doesn't go into their course, right, without their permission. They're going to get a notification, they'll be able to review it, and if they like it, they can just click put it into this course, copy it into one of their courses. So those are just a couple of options you have to save you a little bit of time, but also to collaborate with other Prince George County teachers. One more question came in before I get back into the workshop. Can you put a link in that page? Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I can add links to that page, like adding a website. In fact, that's one of the very first things that we're most likely going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and just come back over here to our content page. If you've already created a couple of copies, I'm going to go ahead and just choose the original right here at the top. Just click on it. To get back into this content page, to use the rich content editor, to add links, and so on, we want to hit edit. There's an edit option whenever we need to edit assignments, content pages, discussions. Look for that little pencil. That's going to open up the rich content editor. Now that we're here, I'm going to add a little bit of text. Now, text is probably one of the easiest things you could imagine, just to type something out. You can also copy and paste in items. Let me just copy and paste this in right here. Like a policy on attendance, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, just an attendance policy for my classroom. There are two things that we're looking at here. We have right here the header, policy on attendance, and we have what that attendance policy is. So I'm going to be showing you best practice along the way when it comes to accessibility of items. If you need to put some type of header here for screen readers, you want to choose the item, like select all of it, and then where it says paragraph, this option, with this selected, maybe choose a different header. And here's the reason why. If a student uses a screen reader and the screen reader reads over your attendance policy, it's going to notice there's a header on the page. There's a header, attendance policy. It will pause and then read out the content underneath. If everything is in the same format, meaning paragraph, it's going to be a non-stop read. A policy on attendance, students are expected. It's just going to have no pause whatsoever. So I just wanted to show you that as an option, that if you need to put headers on a page, just select the text of that item and just turn it into a particular header. And the way that you use headers on a page, think about an outline. An outline might have Roman numeral 1, and if I need to add another type of header, but maybe more of a subset, that would be Roman numeral 1 and then capital letter A, and then put a subset underneath. So when you're using headers, if there's going to be a subset, make sure that next item might use a header 3, after that might be a header 4, and so on. All right. Another thing that I wanted to show you here, it's a little bit of window dressing, I suppose. If I have a policy on attendance and underneath this, I'm going to add some helpful links. So let me just type in helpful links. And I'll use some bullet formatting for it. Bullet formatting can be found just like how you do Google Docs, Word docs. Here's the bulleting tool right here. But notice that this is separate. This helpful links is not the policy on attendance. It's just another segment of this page. Well, I would just use header 2 again because that's another piece. So right here, header 2. And I might want to separate these two. So I'm going to add what's known as a horizontal line. So find the middle. Just basically hit return right here, just like you're just dividing up the page a little bit. And you're going to insert a horizontal line. So insert menu, the very last option. There's a lot of things here. The very last option, horizontal line. And it puts a horizontal line in that space, and that's very clean. It's like when you build an assignment. You have an assignment overview at the top in your instructions. That's what the assignment is about. Maybe a horizontal line separating that from the instructions of the assignment. So there's instructions on, I want a 500-word essay on the sinking of the Maine, something like that. So you can add a horizontal line using the rich content editor, and this is just a small example of how you would use that. So I'm going to pause right here, and yes, when we come back, guess what we're going to do? We're going to add a couple of links. But I want to get you familiar with just maybe typing in some text, using the headering tools where needed, and then maybe adding a horizontal line. I'm going to save what I have so far. This is what we have at this point right here. And here's the activity for it. So go ahead and open up the page by hitting that edit button and add some text. I don't care what it is. Today you are just learning how to use this tool and maybe use some of the header formatting tools that you have available. If you want to go ahead and go that extra step, try adding a couple of horizontal lines and kind of thinking for yourself how you would use that to divide or divvy up some of that content. I'm going to give us about a minute here. If you have any questions about what I've just done, go ahead and let us know, but we are going to be adding a ton more to this page. Links, images, video content, documentation. Any of you have Google Drive? yeah, we're going to add Google Drive content as well. All right, everybody. Now, as much as I know you're all looking forward to adding links and images to this blank canvas or work of art, you've earned a break. All right, so this is about the midpoint of our training today. So we're going to take about a 15-minute break for everyone to just kind of relax a bit, maybe grab a soft drink. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer, but we'll see you once the timer is completed. Again, a 15-minute break. Once we're done, we'll pick up where we left off. All right, everybody, welcome back. Hopefully that was a nice break for all of you. And we're just going to go and pick up where we left off. So coming back over to our content page, in review, all we've added is some text. We've also demonstrated that content pages, like a lot of resources in Canvas, can be duplicated, they can be shared, they can be copied over to other courses. So now let me go and show you how we can add some helpful links to this page. And the helpful web link that I'm going to be using today is this right here. Hopefully this is something familiar to all of you. It's your own main web page. I'm going to copy this and put this into the chat for all of you. And I'm just going to simulate the concept of giving a student a link. I want you to click here and then you'll be redirected to this page. So first, of course, you'll need the URL. You'll need the web address of whatever web resource you want the student to go to. And then let's come back to our content page and hit edit again to get back into the rich content editor. So here at the top right-hand corner, edit. So again, I want to use bullet format. So I'm going to use our bulleting tool here on the toolbar. And here's what we don't recommend. We don't recommend doing this. Now, anybody can just copy a web page and drop it in. We recommend best practice, which is that a web link should be descriptive. That means if I want the student to click on it, they're going to click on something that says, here is a link to our main page. So they can click on it. So something that is descriptive. So instead of just dropping in a URL like that, type out the simple sentence of, here is a link to our main page. Something like that. And now you get to determine what is the link. Is it the word link? You would just select that, or is it the whole thing, which might be a little bit easier. So with it being selected, I'm going to insert a link. So insert, very first item. So as you hover over that first item of inserting a link, it's giving you two choices: external links or course links. We'll get into course links here in a second, but this is an external website. It's something outside of Canvas. And a course link would be linking to an assignment, linking to a quiz, linking to an announcement or module. I'm going to choose external link now, and that's where you would just paste in that website. And there we go. So let me go ahead and save what I have. And by the way, if you've done this and you're like, how come I'm clicking on it, it's not working? You have to save the page to view your handiwork. So I'm going to hit save. And now clicking on it, the student clicks on this resource, opens up another tab, which is this website, which is nice because if I have, say, for example, an assignment here and I give them some resources, when they click on it, they can read the resources, go back to the Canvas assignment. Wait, I need to go back over here to the resources, back to the Canvas assignment. So that's how you can add some type of web link to your content page using the Rich Content Editor. I'm going to go ahead and show you one more thing here before I let you practice this, something we're going to use often: images. Whether it's your own image that you are building a teacher's bio page, learn about your teacher, or if you just want to add some Prince George County logos, how do you add an image? Well, get back into the Rich Content Editor here and find where you want that image to go. I'm going to put it right above the attendance policy, right up here at the top. And then I'm going to insert an image. You guessed it, right over here, insert, next option, image. Now notice that there are a couple of options to choose from: upload something new, something on my desktop, or course images, things that are already existing in this course. And if you've imported a template, that template comes with a lot of images already, so you can go ahead and peruse through those. I'm going to show you how I can import an image or upload something that I don't have yet. So upload an image. It's going to give you this rocket ship. Now, if you have that image on your desktop, you could drag it to the rocket ship at this time. I'm just going to click on it. Opens up my desktop, and I'm just choosing that image right here. There we go. Now, before I add that image, best practice, whenever you add an image, again, for accessibility, make sure that image has some alt text. It means when a screen reader goes over that, it's just going to say something like PGS image. So I'm going to go ahead, or logo. So I'm going to go ahead and just put all caps, PGCPS, then the word logo, and submit. That's it. Once you add images, you can play with the size of the image by selecting it. Notice as I selected, there are these little boxes on the corners. I can then click, hold, and kind of drag them out a little bit to change the size. Also, as you select the image, it's going to give something that says image options right there. So as you select the image options, this is where you can change or add the alt text or choose some custom sizes down here below. All right, so that's adding an image or adding some type of external link. I'm going to pause right here. Let me hit save. This is how our page is looking so far. Images, some text on the screen, some links. I'll let you try this. This is the activity right here, just asking you, I'd like you to insert an external link. I'm giving you a link example there in the Zoom chat. Also, add an image. Again, doesn't matter what the image is. Could be a picture of a house cat. We are just practicing with these concepts. So go ahead and add an external link, add an image. Once you're done, of course, save your page. I'm going to give us about a minute and 30 seconds here. If you have any questions about what I just did, go ahead and let us know in the chat. All right, everybody. Let's take a look at our page again. Coming back over here, I'm going to hit edit. And at this point, I'm going to go full screen so I can see what I'm doing here. Remember, you can always, if you just need a little bit extra space, you can click, hold, and drag the lower right-hand corner down. But I'm going to go to full screen for now. And here we are. So now I want to show you how we can link to items that are in the course, what we like to call course links. You might see things like that, like buttons in a course that are announcement buttons. Click here, view the announcements. Click here, view your teacher's bio or contact information. So let's go ahead and show you how we can link to items in the course. If you remember, and again, if you have an empty course today, you're completely fine. If you remember, we duplicated a couple of these pages, didn't we, at the very beginning of this workshop. So I want to link a link here that will link to that other page. Maybe it's a link for videos. Maybe it's a link for reading. I just want to redirect the student to another location in my course, and I've already created a couple of duplicated pages. So I'm going to come right over here above my policy and attendance. And I'm going to put something here that just says reading schedule. All right, reading schedule. A link in a course could be image-based or it could be text-based. It's the same exact process. I'm going to link these two items, this image and this text, to the same location, just to show you that if you prefer to give a student something that says Reading schedule. They click on it, they go to that reading schedule, it's fine. Or if you have a button, an image that says reading schedule, same functionality. So first, let's go ahead and select that text like I have it right here. And then I'm going to insert a link. So insert a link. And now instead of choosing external, I'm choosing course links. It's going to pull up this side menu. All of these items that are listed here in these expandable menus can be linked to. So if you have an assignment, you can link to an assignment in an announcement. If you want to make an announcement button, go down to the course navigation and just choose announcements. So click here for announcements. Announcements. Students will be redirected to the announcements within the course. In this particular case, if you remember, we duplicated a couple of pages. So pages here at the top, and I'm going to link to another page. And it doesn't matter for us if the content is published or unpublished. Just remember when that link needs to be ready for students to interact with it, make sure all of these links in the chain are published. So I'm going to go ahead and just select that page right there. If you have a button, if you have an image, you want to try this, select the image. Same thing. You've already got this open to insert a course link. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the same resource. And notice that it just kind of highlighted itself with selection of the image. Just select what it needs to be linked to, and that is it. I'm going to go ahead and just close this side menu out. To leave full screen, remember you got to hit the escape key, and in order to see your links work, you want to save your page. So this is currently where we're at right now. If the student clicks on this now a button image, they're redirected to this page. Now, if we can make a link that takes us to this page, couldn't we just make a link that takes us right back? Right now, the student has to use the back key or the back button to get back here. But if we can link to resources like a schedule that shows us the schedule for today, I could give them a link that gives them a link to last week's schedule or maybe next week's schedule. So just kind of think about that concept of linking to internal resources. So as I click on, I'm just going to click on the same thing. It just takes us to that page we copied. I'm just going to create a backlink. So on this blank page, edit, and something as simple as click to go back. And just for training purposes, I'm going to increase the size here so we can see it. Okay, click here to go back. Just select the text. Insert a link, and it's going to be a course link. And I'm just redirecting back to the original. So right here, RCE practice. And let me save and publish this for now. So what is the navigation like now? Click here to go back. We're at the original page. Click here. Go back to this page. Click here to go back. So that's a convenience you can give your students as opposed to them always having to locate that back key to get back to the original resource. So think about it in the concepts of weekly reading, weekly schedules. You can go ahead and link to items like modules, assignments, all using that course link option. I know you're excited to use this, so I'm going to give you a chance to try this out. Go ahead. Go right over here and maybe link your image to one of your RCE copy pages, something you duplicated. If you want to link the image or you want to create text to link there, I went above and beyond and created a go back on that copy page. You can go ahead and try that, see what that's like. Go ahead and try that. Link to an internal resource, a course resource, like one of your duplicate pages. Give us about a minute, 30 seconds here. If you have any questions about what I just did, go ahead and let us know in the chat. All right, everybody. How many of you feel like you might use video in the classroom? Like you want to record a video message welcoming your students, or maybe you want to give them video instructions on how to complete an assignment. I'm going to show you now how we can use a rich content editor to Yep, that's right. Insert video content. Now, I did mention Studio at the very beginning of our session today. There is a dedicated training just for Studio media content, but Canvas has a default media player already built into the platform. If you just need to record a quick video, you can go ahead and add it in the rich content editor. So coming back over here in our page, and I'm kind of feeling like this page is getting a little heavy. If I put a video here, it's just going to take up a lot of space, just real estate wise. I've already got a blank page over here in this copy, so I'm going to go ahead and choose this as my video page. I'm going to add a couple of videos here. So opening up the rich content editor again, choose where that video needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and hit return down here. My video is going to go right underneath, and I'm going to hit insert. So insert, we've shown you inserting of links, external and course links, images. The next item is media. Upload record media or choose a video that's already been uploaded into your course. Well, I'm going to choose upload. So the first two options, we have something that you have on your computer. Are you ready to upload it right now? I would highly recommend wait until you have some studio training and upload your videos in the studio, mainly for the fact that you can manage it in studio. It doesn't take up any space in your course. I'm going to start the recording option. All right, there we go. So if you want to record a quick welcome message to parents, students, anytime that you're going to use the rich content editor, just insert upload media like this. And let's start the recording. First thing, before you start the recording, make sure you're smiling, because if you don't, you have that thumbnail video that you're going to click on where your eyes are closed, you're looking out in the distance. So just smile as the video is about to start. Hey students, this is Mr. Roper, your teacher. I just want to welcome you to my classroom. I'm going to put some resources down below this video that you can go ahead and watch and read. And if you have any questions, go ahead and check out the homepage. There's a Q&A link there for your convenience. Other than that, welcome to my classroom. See right there, you got to be smiling. If you're not, your eyes are closed. So you got to give it a title. So I'm just going to title this intro and save media. That's it. That's how you can create a quick video, or perhaps if you wanted to, you could upload a small video if you'd like. Once this video has that little buffering circle right there, you will then be able to click on it because it gives you something that says video options. Video options are ways to change the title of the video, or maybe uploading a closed captioning script if you have one. But just remember, Studio has a closed captioning script generator, so you can always build video that way. But I just wanted to show you a very quick way to add a video using the rich content editor. So there's other ways to add videos that I'm going to show you, but I'd like to pause right here and let you try the media tool. Try it out. Let me go ahead and hit save. Let me play it real quick for you. Hey students, this is Mr. Roper, your teacher. So that's what would happen if you weren't smiling. See how like your mouth is open? I just want to see right there, your lips are pursed, your eyes are closed. Always remember that you want to be smiling at the very beginning of your video. All right, enough of that. Let me refresh that page. Let's go ahead and have you try adding some video content now. I'd like you to insert some type of media, whether you want to upload it or just do a quick, again, you're just learning today, a quick 3-second video and just add it to your content page. Once you're done, of course, save your page, check it out. Let's go and take about a minute, 30 seconds here. If you have any questions about what I just did, go ahead and let me know. All right. How many of you knew that Prince George County Schools has its own YouTube channel? How many of you knew that? This channel right here. A bunch of video content that you can go ahead and peruse. But the reason why I'm bringing you here is because sometimes we might want to embed a video in our course. I don't recommend giving students a link to YouTube, because what happens when you give them a link to YouTube? Do they really watch your video, or they just stay on YouTube and watch all the people they subscribe to? I want a video to be able to play in my course. I don't want commercials or anything like that. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to embed video content, or anything that has an embed code we can put in a content page. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to randomly choose a video right over here, PGSPS in a minute.
Hi, I'm Sandra with PGCPS in a minute.
All right, so I'm going to use this as an example of a video that I want to play in my course. So with YouTube in particular, you will need the embed code. You'll need the embed code of anything you want to embed as far as a video. So for YouTube, you can find that embed code right over here where the share option is. So right here under the video to the right-hand side of a YouTube video player, look for the share option. And the very first item it gives you, embed. I want that. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and YouTube makes it pretty convenient for us. We don't have to highlight anything. We can just hit that copy in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and take myself back over here into my page. I'm going to put that YouTube embed underneath my video. So I need to hit edit. So open up the rich content editor. And in this particular case, I'm going to go full screen. Not a lot of room to work with here, so lower right-hand corner, full screen. And I need to get my cursor underneath the video I already have. So if you find yourself in a situation like, how come when I click here, my cursor isn't showing up? Click right over here, the last item that you have, or click out here in the ether. You can see the cursor is blinking, and hit return. Moves the cursor down. And I need to insert and embed. I know a lot of you thought, wait, insert a video, right? Nope, insert and embed. I got you. So right here, insert, embed. And just take that embed code that you got from whatever website, doesn't matter what it is, as long as it offers an embed code. And before I hit submit, notice that there is a slight option right here to where if you want to play with the size of that player, you can certainly do so right about here, and submit. And there's the video. And when the student hits play, so that will play in the course, in your announcement, on your homepage, or in a content page like this. Sometimes I do get asked questions about the video that you add. Can you change the size of this player? As you click on it, notice that I can click like an image and just drag it out a little bit. So I can resize some of the video content that I create myself using Canvas's default media player. So that's a video I created myself. That's a video I've embedded on the page. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to give you a link to your amazing YouTube channel so you can pick and choose videos. And then I'm going to have you try this. Go ahead and embed some video content on your content page. Remember, YouTube, in the share option, there is share embed. Grab that embed code and insert that embed code once you get back into your course. It's about 1 minute 30 seconds here. If you have any questions about what I just did, please let me know. All right, everybody. Now let's talk about documents, documentation, PowerPoints, something that you have on the computer that you need the student to read. It could be instructions to an assignment, but a document nonetheless. How do you get a document on a content page? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and open up my content page here. Actually, let me go ahead and just save what I have just to show you what it looks like. I want to put some type of document that I want the student to read. So maybe it's my favorite reading, the reading schedule. I need to open this back up. And I'm going to go to full screen. And let me go ahead and add my document down here below. So clicking over here in the ether on the right-hand side, then hitting return brings my cursor down. That's where my document is going to be displayed. Now I need to insert a document. So insert, fourth option. Now we get to choose either upload something that we haven't uploaded already or choose something from the course documents. And I'm going to try not to be picky here, but I usually fail at that. Just take a look at the shop. Take a look at my documents folder. And I want the student to do some reading. How about some reading on the Punic Wars? Why not? Or the reading of the history of Japan. Punic Wars PDF. All right, so what's happening right now is that's uploading into the course. It's uploading into the course files for reuse. I never have to upload it to the course again. It's going to stay with this course whenever I import it from one course shell to the next. But there it is here at the very bottom. And let me save what I have so far because this is the current display experience for users of that document. Well, they have to click on it. So they're going to go ahead and click on it. This is what's known as displaying in an overlay. Now it's going to be basically almost full screen. The student can go through it. They can download a copy for themselves. And when they want this to go away, they can just hit close in the top right-hand corner. But sometimes there might be a need for a document just to open all on its own, like the idea of a student going to a Canvas assignment and the instructions just pop open right there. There's no need for them to click on anything. That's an added convenience. So just note that when you add a document initially, the overlay view, what I just showed you, is the default display option of Canvas documents. If you want it to auto display, you want to stay in the rich content editor just a second longer. So let me open this up again. And let me go to full screen. So you've just added your link. You've just uploaded, inserted a document, uploaded some type of PDF, doc, PowerPoint file, but you want this to open for the student automatically. So once you have that document file here, you want to click on it, and it's going to give you something that says link options. And here we go. We have our display options right over here on the right-hand side. And like I said, it's currently in the default view of preview and overlay. I want it to preview inline, and I want it to expand by default. So preview inline, expand by default, and now hit done. In order to see this work, we do have to save what we have. So I'm going to hit escape, save. And I'm not touching anything. I'm just scrolling down so you can see it. Yep, document auto displays for the student on the page. Now, how many of you feel like you might use something like that? Like if you had an assignment, the instructions are already on the document, it opens for the student automatically. It's one less click for them to go through. Now, you might be asking, well, I'm probably going to do that on everything. Why would I need to have it in an overlay? Well, here's the reason why. What if you had several documents? Right? Like, for example, say this was a reading schedule, and in bullet format, I have 4 documents, reading for week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Well, I wouldn't want them all just to auto-open for the student because it's going to just cascade each other. The student's going to have to scroll down to get to page 3 and scroll down even further to get to page 4. So if you have multiple documents on the same content page using the rich content editor, maybe the overlay option is better. But if it's just a single document like this, I recommend have it auto-open by default. All right. Now, For those of you who are interested in Google Drive, I'm going to go ahead and show you that next, but I'm going to pause here and let you just try uploading documents from your computer first. So that's what this activity is about. Open up one of your pages. I don't care at this point whether it's the duplicate copy or the original, and just try inserting a document. You're going to be inserting a doc and play with some of the preview options. See what you like. Remember, you've got to save the page, save your content page in order to see that action happen. So I'm going to give us about a minute 30 here. Looks like some questions are coming in. Question from Melvin. Wow, can you just overlay your syllabus or any document that you've already prepared like that? Yeah, any document. That was a PDF, could be a Word doc, could be in the form of a PPTX, a PowerPoint file, slide file. If it is your syllabus is in the form of a PDF, that could be on a content page, and you could link that page. Click here to view the syllabus, and the student would just click on it, goes to a content page with your syllabus on it, whatever document you want to display. All right, everybody. As a bonus, showing you this content, how many of you have Google Drive? Meaning you have teaching materials in Google Drive. You've got that same document I showed you, but you just store it in Google Drive. How many of you are in that category? Only one of you? Okay, this is just for you. All right, 2 of you. All right, 3 of you. Let's go ahead and show you how you can access your Google Drive content. The first thing I want to let you know is that Canvas automatically recognizes that you are the author of your document and students are the viewers. So you don't have to modify any type of sharing rights for your documents. Canvas knows that if you put a document in the rich content editor, you can edit it, but your students, they can read it. There's no editing rights to your students. So don't need to change anything about the shareability. Anyone with a link can view, anybody with the link can edit, comment, and so on. So let me go ahead and just demonstrate on our page. And I feel like we've got enough here. I'm just going to click here to go back. I want to put a document from my Google Drive here on this page. So I'm going to come over here, hit edit. And let me go to full screen. Now, a helpful link could be a document, right? I could go ahead and just, this is another reading document from my Google Drive, but I'm not going to include that as far as helpful links go. I just want to display or embed a Google document on this page for students to read. Could be a schedule, could be my syllabi, but here's how you're going to access it. Now, I've been showing you insert options all training long. So you're going to have to access another tool here in the toolbar in order to access Google Drive. So here in the toolbar, you might notice that there is an electrical plug right there. So locate the electrical plug. It's just about right there. When you click on it, it might say View All. All right, so you want to select View All. And here are all of the tools that Prince George's County has added for its Canvas instance. And some of them you're probably already familiar with. Like, for example, Gale in Text, Adobe Creative. How amazing is that? You've got access, for those of you who kind of, crossed your arms and said, Google Drive, I have everything in my Office 365, my OneDrive. Yeah, we're thinking about you too. But here's Google Drive right here. So I'm going to access my Google Drive today just by selecting it. Now, if this is the first time that you've ever clicked on one of those options, it may ask you to authorize the account you're using. So you want to authorize the account that has all your teaching materials in it. I've already pre-authenticated my own. Here's all my Drive folders. So let me go ahead and just open up something here. And again, I'm probably going to fail at being picky, but here we go. And right about there. That's a Google Doc, and I'm doing that for a reason. Here's the Google Doc. Now, before I add it, I have two options with Google. I can embed or I can link. And that's the same concept we just saw with the document we displayed. We can have it display, embed, or we can have the student click on it and read it. And that's the idea of a link. And it's the same concept. If I had several Google Docs, like reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, well, I might want to just link them instead in bullet format. But if it's just going to be a single document, I'm going to embed it. So here we go. I'm going to embed the document. And there we go. Maybe I should just basically push this one down a little bit. Actually, let me kind of went over here. No worries. I'm just going to come over here to the very top. Try that one more time. And the Punic Wars. There we go. There we go. I wanted it at the top of the page. I'm going to save what I have so far. Save. And there's that Google document. Now, remember, I don't have to make a single change to the shareability of that document in Google Drive. Canvas just knows that as a student goes and reads this page, they're viewing it. I mean, technically they could hit file and make a copy if they like, but they cannot make any changes to documents that you put from your Google Drive or Office 365 placed in the rich content editor. But guess what? You can. See how that says week 7? Someone mentioned the idea of putting a syllabi in here. Doesn't a syllabi change from year to year? So this could be week 7, or as I click into this space, notice that my cursor is blinking. I could go ahead and change something, like maybe add something in this space, or click into the header here. This isn't week 7. This is like more like week 1 reading. I can change a living document that I have embedded from my Google Drive right here in Canvas. That's the same concept as if I'm in Drive right now. If I come across that document, it will automatically update in my course. So that's like having a living document. Think about this. I have some teachers, for example, they use Google Slides, and they put a Google slide on a page and they put the schedule on each slide. So the student just comes in here. It's view only for them automatically. They just scroll through week 1, week 2, week 3. And guess what? You can change things while you're in Canvas. If your schedule is on a document like this and it's linked from Google Drive, I can immediately change it right here in my Canvas course, and it's just as if I'm in Google Drive changing it in that space. It will update in all courses it's linked in. So yeah, that's me just changing the document on the fly. If this was a series of questions that I had for the student and I forgot to add a 7th question, I could just come into here, add that 7th question, or add something to the schedule for that week that I didn't have planned originally. How many of you like the idea of linking a living document, something you can access and edit from Google Drive all the way here in your course? How many of you think you might use it? Yeah, some of you. Okay, 3 of you. Perfect.
Yes, I would.
And that's basically using the rich content editor and the most tools that you're probably going to need to access. Let me show you one more thing. How many of you kind of like remember this movie? All right, I know a lot of you are not movie buffs, but this is a movie called Karate Kid, Sony Pictures Entertainment. And there's a scene in the movie where the gentleman there on the left-hand side, his name's Daniel, he goes to the gentleman on the right, his name's Mr. Miyagi. He wants to learn karate. All right, and that's the scene. So Mr. Miyagi, what do you think he does first? Does he teach him front kicks, breaking boards? What does Mr. Miyagi do? I know Stuart's watched the movie. That's right. Wax on, wax off. What else does Mr. Miyagi do when he wants to learn karate initially? Remember when he had to like sand a mile of walkway? Exactly. Paint the fence and the house. Yeah, so there's a scene after all of that where Daniel there gets frustrated, all right? He gets frustrated. It's like, hey, I'm doing all this labor. All I wanted to do, all I came here for was to learn how to do karate. Why are you showing me all these other things? Well, what does Mr. Miyagi do? He says, show me wax on, wax off. And he's a little confused when he tries to do it, but then he attacks him, and it brings the scene together because he realizes he can now subconsciously do all of these defensive attacks. And that's exactly what I've just shown you, because now in your course, say for example, you want to build a homepage. All a homepage really is an image here at the top. You know how to insert an image. What about those buttons down below? Those buttons are images that you link to other resources, just like I showed you how we can link to another page, or maybe linking to a website. Or maybe that day comes around when you need to make a video announcement to your students. So you head over to the announcements area of your course. And how do you make a video announcement? Well, I've already shown you that a lot of the tools to build something in Canvas, we give you a plus button for it, and you get the rich content editor. And now you know to insert media and record a quick video for your students. When it comes to that first discussion that you build in the course, a classroom discussion, and you want the students to watch a video from YouTube or any area that you get an embed code, you probably guessed it, yeah, you would just create a discussion, and you know to use the rich content editor to put that embed code in. So you can have the students watch the video, not redirect them to YouTube, watch the video right here. When you want to create your first assignment, and the assignment has Google Drive document instructions, you just need the student to read the instructions, something you already have from Google Drive. Well, when you go to create that first assignment, it's going to give you the rich content editor. So now you know to access your Google Drive content by just coming over here and hitting the electrical plug. All of that is the wax on, wax off concepts. And if you can grasp those, you know now how to build over 70% of your Canvas course. You're extremely dangerous now when it comes to building today. So I really appreciate all of you for just learning how to use that building tool. And now it just kind of gives you those possibilities of what else you can do within a Canvas course. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and kind of move forward in our lesson today, in our workshop, and talk a little bit about course delivery. Course delivery is through something we call the Canvas modules. Think of the Canvas modules as the chapter of a book. The chapter of a book would start with, say, the glossary, or, the index of all of the chapters. And then after that, it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. However you have students follow along in your course, you would use the Canvas modules for that, to where you insert content pages, assignments, content from your Google Drive or Office 365. It's important to remember how the modules are used. Just a couple of different examples. In the template course that all of you have access in the Commons, you can access the modules by just coming over here, clicking on modules. You're going to see a couple of options. Some of the options might be related specifically to you and how to use the module, like this teacher module up here at the top. Yep, notice you can collapse or open them up at the same time. A module could be welcoming the students to the class. Here's some information for you. Here's some information for parents, or maybe meet your teacher and learn about the schedule of the classroom. Kind of like the glossary of a book at the very beginning, the dedication to your mother. And then when you're ready, that's when you start delivering the course. And however you deliver the course, I'll leave it up to you, whether it's units, chapters, weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3. This is a unit concept where I use unit 1. This is what we're doing for unit 1 this week. And I include all the resources that we're going to be accessing for just unit 1, whether I use it as a shelving unit to put all my activities here, my discussions for unit 1 here, a little bit of an overview, some wrap up down here at the bottom. You can even have it to where it's weekly based, to where we have an overview for the week. And what are we doing on Monday? Well, there's a header for Monday. I'll just put all of the items like the PowerPoint presentation or the slide presentation from Google Drive on Monday. Tuesday, we might have a discussion about it. Wednesday, we might have a quiz about it. Thursday, we might have an assignment about that item. Just a couple of live examples of what that might look like. This is in a social studies course. Let me head over to my modules. The modules start up here at the very top with student resources. This is just anything that's happening in the course, like a Q&A. Come over here, ask some of the questions you might have. I'm obviously not going to be available 24/7 in person, but you could ask a question right here that I could subscribe to and answer your question as they come in. I could put the course reading up here at the top, and when I'm ready, week 1. Here's week 1. Follow along with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And when the student's ready, they can go to week 2. And I can actually set up the module in a way to where it opens on dates. That means week 2 doesn't open on the first day. It just opens in the week 2 of school, so students don't jump too far ahead. I can also set prerequisites in week 1 that I need you to take an exit quiz before you can get into week 2, or I need you to make a submission to an assignment before you access week 2, something we call a prerequisite. But if this is, but I usually like visual, as you can see with the Karate Kid, I usually like using visual analogies to make things make sense when it comes to certain things that we're learning. When I think of a Canvas module, this is actually what I think of. I think of a dining room table. And that's pretty cool to think about, that you have a dining room table in your course. And hopefully this doesn't make everybody hungry, but that's basically what it is. Canvas training, we're going to teach you things like building assignments, adding files to the course, building quizzes, building discussions, and of course accessing and using Google Drive throughout Canvas. But when it comes to building assignments or where your files are located, that's kind of like the kitchen. It's kind of like the pantry. Our course is never a smorgasbord. It's usually like a dining room table, because at a dining room table, we serve up meals at specific times. So the first thing that you would ever serve up in your course would be the concept of breakfast. Breakfast, there's very specific breakfast items like eggs, bacon, cereal, milk, coffee, vegan bacon if you're into that. I'm not. But, if you are, that's what's served at breakfast. And after breakfast, that's probably going to be week 1, week 2, unit 2, or lunch specific items in that table. And when you take something off the table, it doesn't get deleted. You just put it back into the fridge. Also, there can be things at a dining room table. Like, for example, when I was growing up, I always had to take my plate to the sink. All right. Well, that's a requirement that when you're done with your meal, when you're done with breakfast, when you're done with week 1, you need to complete this quiz. You need to submit this assignment. You need to take your plate to the sink, and that now signifies you are done with that meal. Or dinner, right? You can actually do something where you have certain scaffold requirements in the module where you want a student to do A before they get to B in the same module. It's like dinner. You can't have dessert. At least we can do it now. We're adults. We can have dessert as the first item we eat while we're waiting for our food, right? But when we're young, we had to kind of, finish our vegetables, finish our plate, bring it to the sink, and now we can have our dessert. That's the same thing you can do with a module. You can go ahead and create a reading page on a content page that I just showed you how to create, and put a mark as done requirement. Mark it as done after you finish reading. After you finish reading, the next thing, you've got to talk about it with your classmates in a classroom discussion. After you make a post in the discussion, now you can submit the assignment that the reading was based off of, but I just required them to engage their peers first. So basically a sequential order of certain items. Now, I'm going to leave sequential order and pacing up to you. I don't think you'd ever want to eat at my house if breakfast was like, you need to drink your orange juice first, and after you drink your orange juice, you need to eat your eggs, and after you eat your eggs, you can have your bacon. After you eat your bacon, you can have your toast, and after your toast, you bring the plate to the sink. Probably not going to eat at my house ever again. So maybe that plate to the sink is the only requirement you have in the module. I'll leave the pacing up to you. Well, anyways, now that you're hungry, let's go ahead and head back over here into the modules. Back over here, I've only got 1,000 tabs open. All right, so back over here in the Canvas modules, usually the template course that you get, it'll come with a couple of module templates, something that'll look a little bit like this. The reason why we give you a template is to get you started in the right direction, to where if you need more than 9 weeks of content, we give you the ability to duplicate the module. All right, that's the reason why down over here at the very bottom, if I had a Unit 1, I don't want to have to rebuild this all over again. So just note that modules have the ability to duplicate themselves, just like a content page. It's going to duplicate that entire module, all the headers in it. If they had an emoji, duplicate the emoji. And just like a content page, if you don't have the modules built in your other courses, you can send a copy of this module over there. It's like a basket of things. Or send a copy of this module over to a colleague. So today I'm going to go ahead and start with the two most popular modules that you want to start out with: a resource module, something that's always at the top, and your module 1. So I want you to just imagine that none of these modules exist, all right? I'm just going to imagine that you're starting from scratch. If you want to use an existing module template, that's completely fine. But I'm going to hit that plus module button in the top right-hand corner. And this one's going to be Welcome to Class. And if you do create a module within a course that already has modules existing, it's always going to be added here at the bottom. You can click, hold, and drag this up a little bit, or you can use the 3-dot menu as I've shown you to interact with this item and move the module. I'm going to move it to the very top, so just move it up. There we go. So there's our Welcome to Class module. And let me create another one. This is going to be our Week 1, Week 2, Unit 1, Unit 2. I'm going to go ahead and speak in units today. So this is going to be Unit 1. And I usually include the date. Like this Unit 1 covers this particular date of this week. So this is going to be the week of May 1st through the 6th. So let's go and do May 1st through something like that. And if some of you are wondering what, I just noticed you had emoji in there. How do you add an emoji? Well, you just need an emoji. That's all you need. Let me give you a website that's pretty cool. It's called emojipedia.org. Put this into your Zoom chat. There we go. In this location, if I need something like books, raise your hand, a stop sign. Let me just go ahead and just find a bowl of fruit here. How about fruit? See, this is where if you're picky, this is a problem. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some grapes. Grapes, just copy it. You don't have to, highlight anything. Just hit the copy option and take yourself back to wherever you need to put those grapes. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste that right in here. I'm going to paste that right here in the Zoom chat for you. But yeah, that's where we're going to serve up our first meal here. So Unit 1, notice that before I add it, there's the lock until option. I'm probably not going to lock down Unit 1. Maybe I'll put a date on when Unit 2 or Unit 3 or Unit 16 opens. And I also don't have any prerequisites. You don't have to do anything to access breakfast. I'm not going to have them have a requirement they need to, unless there was like a student orientation in the welcome module. I'm not going to have one, so I don't have any prerequisites yet. You'll see that here in a bit. There's my Unit 1. So there it is right here at the bottom. I'm going to move that up. There we go. So those are the two modules that we're going to work with today. We're going to work with a Welcome to Class module, and we're going to work with your deliverable, your Unit 1. And I'm going to go ahead and think of it kind of like in a face-to-face environment where I have students do stuff in face-to-face, but I'll have stuff in the modules that will be relevant to what we talked about in class and things that I'd like them to do at home, kind of like homework. So those are the two modules I'm starting with first. Let's go ahead and have you try that out. Go ahead and go to the module area of a course. You might already have modules there, but we're just practicing today. There's no pressure to, hey, I need to build weeks 1 through 16 right now. No, you're just learning about this tool. So call it whatever you like. Build two modules based on your course delivery. So if you deliver in units, weeks, chapters, that's your module. Create at least two. I just did, so I'm going to give us about a minute. If you have any questions about what I just did, please let me know. Question there in the chat. Eduardo, that's a really good question. Students might have overlooked a particular assignment or task that's nearing a due date. Does Canvas have a functionality to notify and remind students to get it done right on time? Absolutely. It's more of an administrative functionality. Now, I've already shown you, for example, that they can see their calendar. Their to-do list is going to show them everything that they have coming up in the week. To-do list is a 4-week backlog. They also have a coming up list as well. Let me just come over here to this course and go into the student view. This course has assignments with due dates. So here's that students coming up. These are the things that they haven't submitted at this time. If there was anything due this week, there would be a separate section right here for coming up items within the next 7 days. But we just added Smart Assist to Canvas. That is an administrative functionality that has set days on reminding a student on when certain things are coming due. So that's something that's also available built into Canvas. So if something's coming up, it'll just remind the student with a set number of days beforehand. Please try to get that turned in. So Eduardo, hopefully that was helpful. And again, if you have any questions about module creation, please let me know. All right, looks like this activity is done. Now that we've got these modules, now it's time to add some content. When it comes to adding content into a module, you can pretty much add anything. And I know it isn't listed here, but I also want you to imagine that you can also add Google Drive or Office 365 content, but content pages, any of your Canvas assignments, quizzes, even new quizzes, discussions like a Q&A or maybe a graded discussion on I need you to make an initial post and respond to 3 of your peers, external links to other websites, or external tools like Nearpod, also Google Drive and Office 365, Studio, those are also external tools. Content files, like if you just have a PDF on your computer, you need the student to read it, you can upload it directly to the module so they can view it. And of course, some text headers, we'll talk about that here in a second. In order to add content to your modules, yes, there is the option to drop files. I'll be honest, I rarely ever use that because there's plus buttons that each of the module has. A plus button here and a plus button here, and that's your gateway to add content. So starting with the welcome to class, I'm going to hit that plus sign. It's going to give us this window, and it always wants us to add an assignment first. Well, you don't have to. That's just a drop-down menu now, and now I can choose whatever I want to add in that space. So the first thing that I might add a discussion. A discussion could be ask a question. Because you can subscribe to those discussions, get a notification email every single time a student asks a question. So you can choose one that's already available, or you will see an option that says create a topic. That means if you don't have anything in your course built yet, no worries. You can actually build out your entire Canvas course right here with these create assignment, create discussion, create quiz options in the modules. So I'm going to go ahead and just create topic. And this one's going to be class Q&A. And is there an emoji for that? Like a question mark? Oh, like a hand raise concept, thinking faces. How about a question mark? I'm going to go ahead and just copy that and put that right into my title. Once I'm done, just add item. There we go. Oop, just added it twice. Let me go ahead and just remove that. And there we go. So we have a classroom Q&A. What else would I add up here? By the way, I get asked about like, well, if you just talked about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what's the welcome to class module? The welcome to class module, that module all the way at the top, a student resource module, that would be like a bowl of fruit or a bowl of snacks, something the student can always access between meals, not really relevant to module 1 or module 16. It's going to be, what the students can access, like resources to the class or a Q&A to ask questions at any time. It's going to be an area for parents, like parental resources up here at the very top. Speaking of resources, you can add a content page here. So right over here, hit that plus sign and maybe choose a page, a content page. This page might contain the schedule. It might contain your syllabi. If you don't have a page already built, you can create a page. This is going to be class schedule. And remember that content page using the rich content editor, you can put tons of documents there. You can link content from Google Drive that, again, you can edit while it's on the page. So a class schedule could be located right here. I've already, and a lot of your templates already contain a page that says about your instructor or about your teacher. That's contact information. If you need to get a hold of your teacher, here's my email, things like that. So this is an about your teacher page right there. So about, and actually I'm going to switch this to K-12, about your teacher. And I'm kind of curious, is there any like teacher emojis? Man teacher, woman teacher, teacher. Let me go ahead and just come over here. And I'm going to copy this one and put it on my page. There we go. So I've got an about your teacher page. And what does about teacher page usually contain? Contains probably your picture, a little bit about who you are, and some contact information down at the very bottom. Back over here to the modules. So those are just a couple of ideas for your bowl of fruit, the bowl of snacks up at the top. Now let's add some content here in our Unit 1. So I always recommend some type of overview, a weekly overview, whether it's going to be a content page where it already has a preset schedule displayed on it, just something talking about what are we doing this week. So you can do it of one of two ways. One, you could insert a file. A file is just that document that just has the schedule on it. But remember, when you upload a file, meaning something that isn't in your drive, something off of your computer, like a receipt off your computer, well, there's no way to edit that document. It's just something I want you to read. So if I just wanted to upload a file, that's completely fine. Choose File, and you can choose some of the items that have already been added to your course here. There's a Karate Kid option. But I'm going to create a new file, upload something new. And if you have a syllabi, well, why not add a syllabus? Oh, well, you know what? I would add the syllabus in the course resource module above. Why don't I go ahead and add some reading, like the History of Japan PDF. All right, so there we go. That's also going to upload into the course so I can reuse it again and add that reading. All right, so History of Japan reading up at the top. Or I could add a content page and put several page links of reading instead. So instead, add a content page. I'm going to create a page. This one's going to be Unit 1 Reading. All right, Unit 1 Reading up here at the top. So any type of reading, whereas I only have a single document that I can put into the modules here. If I had multiple pages of the History of Japan, I could just put them all into a content page, save myself a little bit of visual space. Now, if you need to add an assignment, you can choose from one of the mini assignments that you build. Eventually, you'll learn how to build assignments as you become more and more accustomed to Canvas and some of the trainings that are being offered by Prince George's County. But you can create assignments here. You can build out your entire course just from the modules. So create an assignment. What if this is an assignment, you know what, I'm not ready to give this yet, but can I just create an assignment, start one first? Students don't know about it yet, and when I'm done, I'll publish it? Absolutely. If I just create an assignment right here, call it, Unit 1, not going to call it practice assignment. This is going to be Unit 1.1 reading assignment. Add. See how it's in an unpublished state? That's something that I could always go back and finish it up. I could just go ahead and open it, add my instructions to the rich content editor, set a due date of when it's going to be due within the course. I always consider when you're building out the module, I know some of you may not like tattoos. Some of you might. Some of you know somebody who has a tattoo. Well, a tattoo always starts out with an outline. All right, the outline happens, and then, some details get filled in. This is basically what we're doing. We're building an outline of the course, and when I'm ready, when I'm done with this module build, the outline, I'll go into this assignment and give it some fine details, right? So think about it like that. I like the analogies a lot if you already noticed. Let's go ahead and hit that plus button again. What else can we add? So you can add quizzes. You can add quizzes, new, classic. If you want to add a quiz and like a quiz placeholder that, I don't have any questions yet. Well, you can always just create that quiz now, go back when you're ready and finish it up. So create a quiz. In fact, Canvas right now, we're offering 2 quiz types. You can use both of these in your courses. So right over here, if I just hit classic quiz and call this one week 1 quiz or unit 1 quiz, unit 1 practice quiz. Right there, notice it's unpublished. There are no questions. There's no instructions. I'll go back and fill that in. I'm just saying that I'm probably going to offer it. I might not offer it. I'll just have to kind of see how the schedule works. I'm just taking a look there in the chat. Will the assignment you create in the module automatically show under the Assignments tab? Yes, they will actually, everything that is built that is graded within a Canvas course will all show under the Assignments tab. That's a good thing to point out. Because in the Assignments tab, what we like to call the assignment index, it categorizes all of your assignments. So it's like the fridge, it's the pantry, right? If you ever need an assignment, sandwich, well, it's stored, cold stored in the assignments, and you just link it in the module that's offering that particular meal. How many of you are hungry? All right, so coming over here, just clicking on that plus sign one more time. I'm just like showing you all the things that we can do as far as adding content. How many of you like adding external websites? I need you to go to this website. There's a resource there. I need you to go to this website tool. There's a game there. Well, if you have the website URL, kind of like what we were looking at earlier, like this website, let's take a look here. Students, is this going to make me log in? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab this link right here and come back over because that's an external link. I'm just going to go ahead and choose external URL, paste in that URL, and you know what the page name is going to be? This is going to be main page for students. And I'm going to have it open in a new tab. Sometimes the security of certain websites don't allow them to open in Canvas, so opening it in other tabs is just a safe way just to make sure that it works. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the item, and there we go. And you know what? Maybe that was the wrong place to put that link. Why not I just drag it to this location? Yeah, you can drag content from one module to the next. So I don't have to delete it, then re-add it up here. No, just go ahead and drag it into another location. Now, I'm going to show you external tools here last, but I think I've added enough here to just kind of get you started to add a little bit of content. So here we are. This is the next activity. Go ahead and try to, I've set the bar very low, add at least 2 to 3 items. Yeah, just hit the plus sign of your modules just to see what it's like to add content. And remember, like the outline of a tattoo, you can just add assignments, quizzes, and discussions. And then when you're ready, after you build 3 weeks of content, go back to those individual items and give them more detail, like instructions to an assignment or link to an embedded video. I'm going to go ahead and give us about, let's go and take about a minute, 30 seconds here, just for you can try that plus sign. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and let me know. All right. Now all we really need to do is arrange this a little bit. If you remember, the modules that I showed you earlier, my examples, had things like text headers in it, like the word overview, or maybe a shelf for my activities, discussions. If you are doing something where you want the students to really follow based on a daily content, like this is what we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what these are what's known as text headers. So let me go ahead and add a couple of text headers here and how I would arrange them. So right over here, plus sign, and choose the text header option. Text header, if I was teaching in units and I was, face-to-face, and I was just including things that I already shared in the classroom already, like for example, I had a slide presentation that I showed in the classroom, I'm going to go ahead and just build a header here for presentations. And as I build them, I might include that right about here. What about something for the reading? And if I want to put an emoji of a book there, why not? So books right here. I just need to make a copy of that emoji. Come back over here, and you may have noticed I've already added that module. I've added that module item, but if I need to edit it in any way, like I misspelled the word reading, that'll happen. I can just come right over here to the three-dot menu to interact with it and edit that item. Now it's going to be reading with a couple of book emoji. And I might put some reading under it. Like this one might have some reading right about there. So you can see right here that I'm a face-to-face teacher, but I used my modules as kind of like a shelving unit for Unit 1. Students know that, if there's an activity that we need to access in class using Canvas, or it's something I'm going to send them home with, I might send them home with a reading assignment. I can have a header here that says, in class. In class we'll do that quiz, but maybe at home I'll include that reading assignment and maybe build a different header. Again, you can always build headers for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's see how you're doing. A progress check quiz I give every single week, because that might be how your course is delivered. I just recommend always adding some type of header here, because we don't want this to be an endless scroll of content. We want to go ahead and kind of divide it up so the eyes know where certain things are, whether it's following along with Tuesday's content or where are the reading, where are the presentations. I can just come right over here. Okay, they're all going to be listed or moved into that location. So those are just a couple of text headers that you can add on the page. Final thing that I wanted to go ahead and show you here before I let all of you wonderful folks go is the prerequisites and requirements. So as I've shown you, if you just click on the three-dot menu, you can interact with this item. And the three-dot menu for the module itself allows you to have lock dates or requirements. I'm probably not going to put a lock date on my welcome. But what if if classes weren't started at this particular time? I don't want students just to jump in here and start doing that assignment. Students are able to access the course a day early, but we aren't teaching yet. Like they access it on Sunday, we teach on Monday. Well, I can come right over here, put edit, and just lock it until Monday. Courses might open over the weekend, but Monday, that's when students can actually access this content. What about prerequisites? What if there's something in the welcome to class that I want them to look at? I want them to look at the class schedule. That's important. That's going to, so you're not lost on the very first day. So in order to access Unit 1, even if it opens on Monday, you got to look at that schedule first. And that schedule is located in the module above. So a prerequisite might be to finish whatever I require in the first module, which is welcome to class. So let's go ahead and try that. I need to make a requirement here in the first module that I want the student to mark this as done. A button that they say when they're done reading it, they click on it, mark as done. That is the only requirement for that module. Now they can move forward. So if to set a requirement in a module, interact, edit, and add a requirement. And the only thing that I want them to do Complete all the following, but I only have them do one thing. Choose that item. So that's going to be the class schedule page. I don't want you just to look at it. I want you to mark it as done. And that's what a content page can do for you. And only a content page can provide that readability, but also accountability on marking as done. Now you might be asking, like, well, how do I know who's watched that video, who's marked it as done? Well, you have a view progress option at the very top. The view progress option will list all of your students and show you where the students are in the module according to the requirements that you set. So you'll know who's marked that schedule as done and who hasn't, who has read this page, who has participated or contributed to a discussion or submitted to this quiz or assignment. You get to see class progress all the way here at the very top. How many of you feel you might add a couple of requirements in your course? Like, I'd like you to read that page. You don't have to turn anything in. You just have to mark it as done. And marking as done is just kind of a gateway of showing you which students have passed that point in the module, right? Yeah. Kind of a way to kind of check the progress of your students. And you can do that to any of your modules. It's the idea of taking your plate to the sink before you have dessert. Last thing, please remember to publish your module. When your modules are ready, publish your module. And like I said earlier, you don't have to publish everything in it. Like, for example, that assignment is not done. This quiz has not been built yet. So you can publish the module, but you can leave certain items unpublished, like this one and that one. What does it look like to a student? This is what it looks like. Use your student view. Remember all those other modules that were down here below, like the templates, teacher resources? See how they're completely invisible to the student? Only the modules that are available or published. Complete all of them. The student just has to read the class schedule. What does that look like? Well, imagine a class schedule being displayed. Once they read it, they click on that button, mark is done, and they would just go on to the next area. If they come back to the module, you'll notice that other areas are unlocked. This right here, prerequisite, why? Because this opens on May 9th. So that still kind of is that stop signs for students who just kind of jump too far ahead. Hey, we appreciate you, but let's go ahead and be on the same page on Monday. How's everyone doing? All right, everybody. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. This group's been amazing, probably the best group of the two trainings, I'm just going to go ahead and say. I also want to give a special thanks to Monica, Milton, and Kimberly for assisting today in the chat, for all of your questions. Before you leave, and I know you've got other things to do today, I want you to go ahead and take a gift from the Canvas training team in the form of an attendance badge. I'm going to go ahead and put a badge here in the chat for all of you. Let me go ahead and grab that information. And I'm going to paste it right in. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. There's the badge claim form link. It's in the Zoom chat. It's going to ask you for your email and a code. And I've provided the code there, but you can see it on the screen. It's just one word, the word half, right? For half a day of training. And there's also a link for a small survey. My name is Woody Roper. I'm Principal Learning Specialist for Canvas at Instructure. Thank you very much for attending, everybody. And if any of the admins in the chat, Milton, Kimberly, and Monica, if you have anything that left to say for your folks, you can go ahead and come on the microphone now.
Hi, everyone. We just want to thank you so much for taking time out. We know that you worked all day today with students and to come and learn about Canvas. We truly appreciate that you took this time to come and learn. Please make sure that you complete the attendance form that Kim just dropped into chat, and we hope you have a great evening, and try Canvas out with at least one of your courses if you're not already for this fourth quarter. Give it a try so that you can get some practice. Thank you so much for attending.